This is a video to show some of the Thai and Cambodian chessboards and chess sets I have. I don't really have time to list everything on the internet, so I'm just making this video to show you what I've got, and people who are interested can ask me about specific things. There are many things that I've only got like one of a kind, so I'm just going to run through them quickly and give you a comparison of the various things that are available. Just as a point of reference, this is a standard plastic Thai chess set, and it comes with a standard paper Thai chessboard. As you see here, it says, "This is a Thai chessboard. What do you expect?" See? Key point here is there's no checkering, no alternate colored squares. It's just 8 by 8 laid out like a graph. Okay, now I've got a lot of wooden sets and boards of various kinds. Here's something that would be standard if you were in Thailand and you just went to a Thai chess club. You'd be seeing plastic chess pieces like that, but you'd see it on a wooden board of some kind. Now this is made of a rough composite board with two layers put together. The bottom layer is the board and the dishes on the sides for the captured pieces. The upper layer is a ridge that goes around everything and defines it. It's just painted on, and this is just a very thin veneer. You can see, actually, it's so thin you can't even see what it is. It might even be a plastic fake veneer. I don't know, but it's a very kind of cheaply made thing, but it's substantial and it's true, authentic, traditional, what you'd expect to find among Thai people playing Thai chess, known as makruk. Now, I've got several of these actually from a manufacturer in India. I'm going to show you the numbers on the back just so you can reference them if you're interested in them. This is number 517. Nice board. Now this one has a crack in it. You see right here, crack. I tried to kind of mend it, fill it, cover it up, but it's still apparent. So, if you want this board, it's very beautiful, but it'll go for a little bit less because of this crack in it. You can see the detail of the board here. I'll just run it by you. The edges, you can see the edges of these various boards have different designs, and this is this I don't know what you would call that. It looks sort of like a rope or a braid design on the edge. There's the crack, and it's got knots in it. Natural wood grain. It's quite beautiful, really. Let me show you the construction. It's a thick frame with a more narrow wooden surface, but very nice boards. This one's a little bit defective, number 517. I'm going to show you a whole stack of boards like this. This one does not have a number, but let's look at it. It's got these sort of S curve designs on the edges, and they meet at the corner nicely like this. And the edge itself has these circles on it. Anyway, this is a nice board. There's no particular defects in this, but it is handmade, so there's natural grain. There are maybe tiny inconsistencies in how it's put together, but as far as I'm concerned, this is a very nice one in very good condition. Let's call this the board with the S curves that has no number. Okay. Here's a board with a different design on the edges, sort of an angular design. This is number 499, okay? And it's got very strong grain marks. There's, I don't know if you can see this, there's a tiny scratch here. It's pretty superficial. It could buff out. Many people wouldn't mind it, but some people would, so I'm pointing it out to you. Can you see that? Very fine scratch mark there. Otherwise, it's a great board. One thing about, here you go. Here's another more obvious mark right here. Now that could be color filled in. I mean, colored, stained. You know, it would disappear pretty well. If you look very carefully in some of these, you can see there are little places where the lacquer has made bubbles. This bubble is burst. So can you see that? It's just a tiny little lacquer ball mark in there. And then here, some places you can see little places where the lacquer is built up. Here on this edge, you can see it a little better. Little places where the lacquer has bubbled up a little bit. So I want you to know that because you know, these are handmade and they're not necessarily perfect, but they are what they are, and they're beautiful. They're well done. Just showing you all the edges and angles I can here. Here's the center. Beautiful board. Number 499. Just show you another one. This video is, you know, made with people in mind who actually want to buy a board, you know, so that's why I'm showing you details and not worrying too much about the entertainment value of this video. Okay, here's another one that doesn't have a number, but this is a Burmese board, okay, so call this the first Burmese board. And you can see it's got the S-curves on the framing. It's got very strong grain in certain places. It's Burmese style because it's got the X going through the middle of it. If you know Burmese chess, you know what that's about. If you don't, I've got a website all about it. Now, this has some of those little places where the lacquer bubbles in the crevices of the board. I don't know if you see them well, but there's the most obvious ones right down there. See, and the crevices there, just little bubbles of lacquer. Just want you to see that and make sure you know it's there, because otherwise you just might think this board is perfect, because it's certainly perfect enough. Very nice board. Okay, that's the first Burmese board. I only have two of these in the Burmese style with the X going through, and it's not likely that I'll be getting any more of these because they're kind of difficult to handle. You know, they're very individual. Some of them, you know, they have like these little markings of the. This you can also see, for instance, the bubbles. Okay, this is the second Burmese board. It doesn't have a number either, but you can tell this one, it's got a little bit of cracked edge here. I think, in other words, the framing and the main board, there's a little motion in there which had made a crack in the lacquer. And then some places in this board you can see the lacquer is bubbling in the crevices. But you know, these are very nice boards. I mean, the crevices themselves are beautiful. Here's the corner there. See, it's got a little bit of that same effect between the framing and the main board. Yeah, you see it here too. So let's just call this the board with the minor cracking on the corners of the frame. Okay, still very beautiful. If you wanted to fix those little cracking things up. They could be covered up very nicely, but it's a beautifully made board in spite of the imperfection. Top and bottom edge. Okay. These all have squares of about 2 inches, by the way, so it's pretty standard. Okay, now back to Thai boards. This is number 507. Okay, and it's got the angular design in the framing. Close up. So, it's got a little bit of the bubbles of lacquer in the cracks, but beautiful. Look at the grain of this. I mean, all of them have beautiful grain. The grain really shows more strongly than most of the details. And here this has a little bit of that cracking in the corner. Remember from last the other one had? There it is too, a little cracking in the corner. Yeah. So, once again, beautiful board with certain imperfections, but overall very well made and nice quality. Okay, I've got one more of these. This is also a Thai board, and it's got that what I was calling braided design on the edges. It also has a little that cracking in the corner edge there. But let me just show you every edge so you can scrutinize the basic details here. There, see the little cracking in the corner. Yeah, it just comes with the territory pretty much in the way these are made. And I've had them for a little while, so any shifting that they're going to go through after manufacture, well, they've pretty much already gone through it, so you're seeing it as it is. I'll just kind of go through the board so you can see every aspect of it. Yeah, great board. This is number 506 again, and that's the last of those. So that's what I've got for Thai boards. Oh yeah, here's something that's very authentic. This is just found in Cambodia. I've got a friend who goes to Thailand and Cambodia and just finds things for me. And this is very, homespun Cambodian board. You see the lines are quite simple, scratches across. The edge is just nailed on there, tacked on. You can see the little tiny nail marks. You can even see the little nail marks in the edges of the board. I've got a few of these. I think that they're not one of the more popular things I have because there's nothing fancy about them. The only thing that's really great about them is they're very authentic. They're what some guys in the backwoods of Cambodia would be playing chess on. They're very heavy. This wood is very thick around the frames. You can see there's the cut marks where the hinges are put in. Very heavy board. It's made to house the pieces inside. So, folding Cambodian board. I'm going to show you, well, not so much that I want to show you this one, but I'm going to transition now to pieces. Now these are really nice Cambodian pieces. Okay, if I've got good lighting here and good camera, you can see the little details on the knight's mane. This is well beyond the detailing that goes into the ordinary Cambodian pieces. In fact, I'm going to compare them so you know what I'm talking about. here's a standard Cambodian set, okay? Here's the nice king, here's the regular king. Okay. Here's a nice knight, here's a regular knight. You know, there's no comparison really. I mean, these are made with aesthetics in mind, and these are made with just, you know, playing that game in mind. And they're also a bit larger, of course. Here's a nice rook. Here's just a necessary rook. So, oh yeah, this is a good comparison. Here's a nice queen, and here's just a necessary queen, a functional queen. So, this very nice set. The only problem with this set is it's got a imperfection here. One of the knight's ears is chipped. See, that doesn't go to its full point right there. See? And for that reason I just pulled it out of the listing, and I will sell it to you, but if nobody buys it, that's fine. It'll just stay in my collection. So let me know if you want a really nice Cambodian set, because this is the last one, and the only problem with it is that little knight's ear. Okay, there's not too much point in me showing you the rest of this regular, you know, basic Cambodian set. That's the bishop. There's nothing wrong with this set really, just compared to the other one. You know, it's you know, very ordinary. I've got just a few more sets to show you, and these are sets that I just have one of each. I have quite a few of these basic Cambodian sets, so that's not a scarce thing in my office. But this is a, well, here, let me show you this one first. This is really a very standard wooden set, quite nice. This is a Thai style, very similar to the Cambodian style. It's basically the same game, just a few differences. For instance, the queen is always less elaborate in the Thai style, but basically the same game. You play the same game with it, just slightly different stylization is traditional. Very nice rook. Did I show you the knight already? Knight. They tell me that there's a slowdown in production of these in Thailand because they have a hard time finding people who can carve the knights. Anyway, this was a nice one. The dark pieces are the same thing, but just stained, just flat, matte black. Let's see. I'll show you a king. Well, that was a king anyway. I showed you a rook, right? A rook. Oh, that other one I showed you. This is the queen. I was showing the one I showed you was the bishop. They're very similar. Just one is bigger than the other. Queen is smaller here. So where's the white queen in this? Oh, king. I mean, sorry. Yeah, that's right there. Yeah, so that's basically it. You know, these sets are quite simple, quite geometrical in design. It's a little bit weird, but I have one of those sets with felt on the bottom. Now you might like that. It's totally not traditional. I actually put this felt on. I said, hey, why don't I have a set like this that has felt? Okay, now I do. But if you want to buy it, you can. Nice set. Everything's got felt. If you're concerned about scratching your board, this is the set for you. Same as the one I just showed you, but felted. Of course, these are traditionally not felted or weighted. Here's another set I picked up. It's just a little bit different. It's glossy lacquered. You can see the pieces have a slightly different style. A little bulb on top of the pawns. Let's see. That would be the. What would that be? Those would be the bishops. Yes. So where's the queen then? Here's the queen, a little bit smaller. See? Bishops, queen, king. You have to, oops, You have to get used to sets like this. The knights are a little bit chunky, you know. Well, let me show you a white one because it's easier to see that. Oh! Okay, I didn't break it. Okay, I'm not going to break these. Get back in here so I can keep my promise and not break them. This knight is quite simple, but it's a basic Thai knight. So basically, I think you get the idea. It's a little more kind of blocked out than the other one, and it's glossy lacquer. It's unusual. So this is the only one I've seen like this. I've gotten quite a few of these over the years. This is the only one I've seen with the lacquer and that exact carving style. I added the box, by the way. That's not originally from the set in Thailand. Okay, one more quite interesting set. This is a set in the Thai style. It actually came from India, but it's made in the Thai style, so figure that out. Here you go. This is really nice. It's solid stone. I don't know what these stones are, but this is the natural color of them. A green and a yellow. Beautiful. And they have all the natural, you know, imperfections of stone, right? There's a little mark on that. So what? Beautiful stone. And let me show you all the pieces. These are what bishops look like, right? Nothing on the bottom. The queens, kind of squat, shorter than the bishops in the Thai tradition. The knights would usually be a little bit larger relative to the other pieces, but here's the knights in this set. Very nice, basic shape. Rooks. I love the stone here, the texture, the detail. It's all very smooth, by the way. I guess you can see that. And then all the little pawns are just like stuck in here in their little spots. Very smooth. A flat side and a round side. Special case made for it. You know, very unusual. Very special. Precious little Thai set made of stone. And as long as I'm showing you boards that are not checkered, I just wanted to show you these are some traditional Indian mats. Now they have a little bit of variation, but notice this one doesn't have the X's in the center like they usually do, but it has the X's on the edges. It's made of a very rich velvet and beautiful gold ribbon sewn in. Here's a larger one with sort of a more maroon color here. And these are, you know, one layer on top and another layer on the bottom. You know, very well crafted. Here's the corners. Perhaps you can see the stitchery. See the stitchery on this side. Very nicely made, hand-done boards. Here's the same thing, but with kind of a fancy, very fancy, actually, ribbon. Look at that ribbon. It's all twisted, braided, spangled, bangled. Okay. Beautiful. And this is, of course, a very red velvet. Same stitching on, you know, on these, you know, stitched straight through, one layer on top. Kind of a softer velvety surface here, a more smooth, plain surface here. Beautiful. That's also the larger size. And this is pretty much the same thing with more of the maroon velvet. So I've got all of these variations, and you notice that some of these have the X marked in the center, which is traditional. Some people look for boards that have an X marked in the corner. That's kind of the old Ashtapada style. There's some numerological reason for that I haven't exactly investigated. Anyway, these are from India, where boards like this are traditional, so they're very authentic. So, basically I was showing you Thai and Cambodian sets and pieces. Let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to buy any of those. And you can send me an email, whatever. Here's the one with felt. Bye now.